All right, today's project, we're gonna be working on this closet here, doing a little bit of updating. As you can tell, it's a bit stuffed full of stuff, and it's got these ugly white wire shelves. So we're gonna be updating these, making it look a lot nicer and reorganizing. So stay tuned to see the process, how we did it, and the final result. I think it's gonna look really nice, especially compared to what it looks like now. So stay tuned. All right, so obviously step one is cleaning out the closet so you can actually get to your shelves. So we're gonna go ahead and start working on that, getting this cleared out, and then we'll start working on the project. So let's see how fast we can get this done, just like. All right, so we got it cleared out, but we discovered something in the process. So while we were clearing it out, we found this. So if you have this same problem, you're gonna need to fix some of these first. So a couple of these little plastic clips from the original shelf hanging are all busted. So we've got this little bag of drywall wall clips, which look a lot like the original ones. You take these, you pull the old ones out, you drill out the hole a little bigger, and you just hammer this in. And this is a drywall anchor that then re-supports these shelves into place. So we're gonna refortify all these real quick, and then we'll get on with the project. Alright, so that was as simple as knocking out the old wall anchors, drilling them out, screwing them out, popping in the new ones. We ran out in the middle here, so we just chose this one shelf in the middle to not have one because we ran out of clips. So now that we got them all resecured, we're going to go back out, we're going to get these shelves built, and you're going to see what they're going to look like. Alright, so the next step you got to do is measure these out so you know what size you're cutting your plywood to. I'll show you all the materials that we bought here in just a moment, but basically what we're going to do here is 1/4 inch plywood on top, and we're going to do a 1x3 board on the front, which once it's all done, you won't even be able to see these wire shelves, and it'll look like we have wooden floating shelves in the closet, so it'll give it a much nicer look. But what we're going to do now is measure out these shelves so we can go measure out our plywood and get it all cut. And I've got my helper here, so I'm going to be on the camera just taking measurements, and they're going to be writing them down for me, and then we're going to head out to the garage and get this started.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and turn on the post notifications. Need good ones.
How are you taking measurements? So we drew out 5 little lines, which are going to indicate our 5 shelves, because if you just measure one shelf out, you may not have it accurate, because while they all look to be the same, walls normally aren't level. Builders aren't as good as they think they are. So you got to measure out each shelf, because you might have a 1/2 inch difference between the top and the bottom, or even as much as 1 inch to 1.5 inches. So measure out each shelf, write down your measurements, measure twice, cut once, check it out.
Let's see how we're going to do.
So let's move on out to the garage, get these shelves built, see what it looks like. And because we live in Florida, it's 1,000,000 degrees outside, so we're setting up a canopy so we have somewhere to work in the shade so we don't melt to death out here. So we're gonna get that set up, we're gonna get all of our stuff organized because our garage is a mess because our shed still hasn't come in yet. If you've seen any of our shed prep videos, we're still waiting on the permit from the county, even though it's been 2.5 months. So we gotta work with the space that we got, but we're gonna set up a nice little shaded area out here. We're also gonna do a little bit of dirt bike work today. Those will be separate videos though, so stay tuned. Alright, so we got everything set up, we got the miter saw out. I backed the truck up so we have a bit of a table to work on, since again our garage is a bit of a mess at the moment waiting on the shed. But these are all our materials. So you got 2 boards of 1x4 or 1/4 inch plywood. You got 1x3 boards. These are going to be the front strip. Those are actually going to be the shelf base. In addition to those, what you're going to need, some finishing nails. I have a nail gun that I'm going to use with a compressor, but you can also use a hammer and do the finished nails that way, or you can just use wood glue if you think that's going to hold. We're going to do both just to make sure it's nice and sturdy. Then we also have our stain, we have our wood filler, and our polyurethane to coat it once it's done finishing drying with the stain, which will keep the wood protected. So we're going to go ahead and time lapse this as we measure out our wood, cut it down, and get it into the closet. All right, so we got our setup ready. Guys, if you want to grab the 1x3, Kenzie, do you have the measurement sheet that you drew up? Let's go grab that. Jason, grab the board.
This one?
No, the big one. The one that's standing up. Right in front of your face, boy.
I got it.
Wait, bring it over here.
Here we go. Got the measurement sheet.
You just got whacked.
Yeah, they got that because it's the board.
Alright, so we got the wood board on there. I'm going to back this up so we can see a little better.
I can see us chopping down the floor.
Alright, what's our first measurement? Start at the top.
The top 35.
And 3/4 wide?
Yeah.
Alright, so this needs to be 35 and 3/4 wide.
Is it?
No.
Can be. Is it?
So where's the tape measure? So we'll grab the tape measure and the pencil. We're going to hang this right here on our magnet. Alright, so take the tape measure. You bring it out. Find 35 and 3/4. Is that the right measurement? Let's actually measure this one to 36. Actually, no. Come on. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to measure this whole board. Put it right now. Just over 6 feet. So let's go right at 36. Draw a little line. Sorry if there's background noise. My oldest son's mowing. So go ahead and put another line on the other side of the tape. Don't drop your tape measure. We'll draw a straight line. You don't need to do this. Just draw a line. Alright, now we're going to cut this thing in half.
Okay, what moving?
Yep, bring it all the way down there. Using a saw, turn around. Always wear safety glasses. We've all got glasses on. We're all wearing closed-toed shoes so we don't drop anything on our feet. So when you bring it down, what do? You guys know?
Don't press that button.
Do not press the button, yeah.
And always don't put your hand under it.
Yes, so unfortunately mine has a broken guard. This guard should be down until you bring it down, but I have to use a bungee cord to hold it because it's unfortunately broken. You want to adjust these so that way it holds the board when you cut. Line this up in the center. And before you turn the blade on, you bring it down. Is it on the line?
Yeah.
Yeah? Alright, so who wants to cut first?
Me.
How about I do it first?
Yeah, show us how.
So bring it down, your hand stays far away from the blade. Nothing else goes near the blade because it spins.
Can't chop a finger or hand off.
It will take your arm off. So you bring it down right where you want it. Bring it up a little bit. You got a safety button on the side. Push that and pull the handle. Before you do that, you want to make sure you undo your lock so it actually goes back up. And slide it back.
And it chopped now.
So we're going to edit that out.
It chopped.
So it's not chopped. That's the problem. So when you bring it down, when you start the blade, don't bring it straight down. Let it spin for a second to get speed, and then slowly push down. If you go really fast with it, you're going to jam the blade up and possibly pop the wood up in your face. We don't want that.
No.
That hurts.
Yeah.
When you're working with a saw that doesn't have a proper guard on it, don't touch anything until that blade stops spinning. So now take that. Where's the tape measure? And measure that. Make sure it's right.
Yeah.
Measure it. Measure twice, cut once. Well, I already cut, but whatever. 36? Alright, next one. 36 inches. Bring it this way. What's this one?
Whoa.
Thank you for knocking that on my finger.
36.
No, it's not. It's bigger than 36, isn't it? So where's the pencil?
Go ahead and line.
we need to cut it down to 36.
My turn. Ooh. Shaw.
Alright, so we got our line drawn out for 36. Bring this board, Jason, sit down on the bed of the truck. Like stand it up. Yep, just like that. Alright, it's getting to your turn.
I saw one.
Grab that, but don't pull any buttons. Bring it down. See if you're lined up on the line. All the way down. Lined up. Now you lined up. Alright, press the side button. It's designed for one hand, so you can have your thumb. If you need two hands, that's fine. Now lift it up, you're on the board. There you go. Press the side button. And that way. That way. This way. Yeah, that way. There you go. And then pull the handle, it'll start spinning. Good. Bring it back up. Give me a little piece of cut.
Look how tiny the piece we needed.
No, we didn't need that piece. We needed to cut that piece off.
Yeah, we
Now we
needed
measure this piece, see if we're at 36. Are we? Yeah, we're right on the line. Exactly 36. So go put this over there. Actually,
Bye-bye.
grab one of those other long boards. Because how many shelves do we have? Do you remember?
5.
5?
Yeah.
So how many of these do we need?
5.
5. How many do we have?
3.
How many do we have?
5.
2. We only cut 2.
Oh, I thought you meant all together.
And now rather than having to measure every single board, now that we already have one cut, that we know is right, and we just broke one.
They're not broken.
No, it's not.
Just to let you know they're kind of slipping shit we live in Florida.
So, nice little hack. We've already got one board cut to the right way.
Yeah.
Just measure out the next one with the board you already cut. Hold up. The one thing I'm going to do, because these are actually a little bit longer than we need, these ends are sometimes rough, so I'm going to shave the end to make it smooth. So now we got a smooth end instead of a rough end.
Yeah.
Now, don't flip that up. Let me put that. There we go. Let me take this. You don't need to measure. We can just literally back this up. Bring it down. Is that right? Is it still lined up down there? Push your finger on it, make it flat.
Yeah.
You take your finger and you push right in the middle. Make it flat. There you go.
Yeah.
Jason, you want to cut?
Can my finger here?
Yeah, you can hold it.
Go, Grandma.
Careful. Bring it down. Actually, just for safety reasons, put that up. Is that lined up down there?
Yep.
So instead of leaving this on there while we cut so it doesn't get caught on anything, we're going to draw our line and move it. Now we got our line. We didn't have to measure. Bring it down, see where you're at. You on it?
Yeah.
It looks like it. So push the side button. Bring it down. Bring it down. So you're almost on the wood. There you go. Push the side button, and then pull the handle. Yeah, you gotta push the side button while you pull the handle, Jason. Good.
It smells.
Watch your step. Don't back up like you just did, because you almost knocked the whole saw table down. That would have been really bad.
No, we did not put it right on the line.
It's okay. It's actually a little bit bigger than 36, which is what we want. Because if you cut a little bit longer than you need, because we're going to bring these inside and we're actually going to hold them up in there to make sure they fit properly. And if they don't, we can always shave a little bit off, but you can't ever add any back on. So, you got this one.
And then you buy another piece of wood.
Well, yeah. Then we'd have to cut all over again.
Yeah.
So if you leave a little extra on, it's better than taking too much off.
Yeah.
Ideally, you measure it right the first time and cut right the first time.
You guys can take your glasses off.
No, we're about to saw again. Like
Oh,
that.
never mind.
I'm going to shave this one, so we have a smooth end on this one.
Yeah, that looks rough.
Yeah, feel that?
Ow, my eyes.
You're dusting your eye?
Yeah.
Feel that versus that. Last one.
Just to let you know, if you ever come to Florida, beware to never wear a jacket. Because after 1 minute or 5 minutes, you will be sweating.
Yep. Can you grab that big longboard over there?
Yeah.
You can put those ones up. Those are done. Put them with the other one right there.
And what?
Don't
No.
knock anything down with that. Don't whack your sister.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. Why don't you put it on the table, boy? Here, you can do this part. Line that up.
James, you're gonna need to shave this. It's rough.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Let me shave it first before we line it up. Hold that. Good call, Kenzie. Alright, now line it up. Turn it up on there.
Pencil.
Kenzie, you come over here. You're going to mark it.
Hey, I never got marked.
Wait until it's lined up. Is it good?
Yeah.
Nice and flat. Alright, draw your line.
Draw your line. Buddy boy.
Take that away. Put it over there with the other finished boards. And then line it up. Got this one.
Hey, I
Get it lined up. There we go. Slide on over. Then bring that down. Don't touch the buttons until you get it down. This one you don't really have to worry about because it's not going to click until you push the side buttons. Those are what these are for. It's safety. Bring it down so we can see. Push it all the way to the wood. And line it up. You lined up. Then bring it up a little bit. There you go. Side button and handle. Hold that. Shave this one smooth. Instead of cutting twice and shaving smooth and then measuring, we're just gonna measure. Where's the pencil? Pencil, pencil, pencil.
Pencil, pencil.
Pencil, pencil.
Pencil,
Mark this
pencil.
end down here, Kenzie. The rough end. Draw a line straight across. There we go. Now we know where to cut. Take that away. Which we already have our 5, so we're gonna have 6 boards. We're gonna have 1 extra. We're gonna do it anyway, just in case. Alright, go sit that over there.
It's funny.
Go sit that over there.
It's funny.
Now we got the fun part.
What's the fun part?
Fun part is cutting the plywood.
Ooh. No, that's the boring part.
It's not gonna be fun. But we do have,
That's why I said it's the boring part.
we're gonna go ahead and cut the video for a second now, because what we're gonna do is get our table saw out, which is a little bit buried.
And
that's so fun.
Can we take our glasses off now?
Right now you can take your glasses off, yep.
Good. My favorite part.
Alright, we're gonna get the table saw out. See you in a minute. Alright, so we got the table saw out, which is this guy here. This is what we're gonna use for cutting plywood, sheets that we have. So whenever you're using a table saw, you want the blade to be just as high out as the actual thing you're cutting. So if you have a 2x4, Generally want this to be about 1 3/4 to 2 inches out to go through the wood. You go too high and it ends up creating a lot of friction. The blade's not going to work right. You're going to end up with some weird cuts. So we're going to grab these. We're going to measure out where our cuts are going to need to be with this all the way down so we can use this as a workstation. We're going to cut it all out and we'll show you how we do it. All right, we got the plywood laid out. We put the blade down so it's not going to mess up the wood. Now we got to measure. Kenzie, what's our measurements? Alright, so we need to go 35 deep. Let's see how big this board is. 48. No, 48, that's not ideal. Alright, so we got the first shelf. Alexa, pause. Alright, so we got the first shelf measured out. Basically all we did, take the tape measure, measure 3 or 4 spots long ways, and at least 2 spots lengthways, and then use a level and draw your lines out. Once you have your lines drawn out, you can cut out the board. I recommend cutting out one first, bringing it inside of your shelf, and double checking to make sure that it fits, because otherwise you're going to have a mess if you cut them all and then they don't fit. Then you got to start back over again. So we're going to go ahead and cut this. We're going to bring it inside, make sure it fits. Alright, so we got all 5 shelves cut out. We got the 1x4 plywood, or sorry, 1/4 inch plywood, and we've got our front board. So once we get this right, what we're going to do is we're going to route the inside edge of this about halfway into the 1x3. Once we route that edge, this plywood will sit flush inside, so you won't see the grain. Alright, now that we got all of our boards cut out, we got shelves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're taking our plunge router. We're just going to use this table as a little bit of a base, but we got this attached. We're going to route about a 1/4 inch edge on the back side of these boards, so we have somewhere for this to sit flush inside the board, so that way you end up with a floating shelf. So we're going to go ahead and time lapse that, get all 5 of these cut, then we should be ready for staining and making sure they fit. So we got all the boards routed. Now, when we hold these up, the 1/4 inch plywood fits right into this groove. So when the shelf is in the closet, all you see is the front, which gives you that floating shelf effect. So what we're going to do now, we're going to put a little bit of wood glue in the routed edge we just created. And we're going to use some brad nails to hold that shelf onto this floating edge. So we're going to go ahead and knock that out. Next step after that is staining. Then unfortunately we're going to have to pause because we have to let it dry, because then we have to do polyurethane to seal it all together. So we're gonna go ahead and time lapse that.
Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and turn on the post notifications. Ah!
That did my stepsister being a lot of weird. Sorry. So we're getting cleaned up. Candy, we are getting cleaned up. We're going to bring everything in back into the walls, and then yeah. So make sure to like, subscribe, share. Can you stop? Make sure to watch more videos. Bye.
Peace.
Alright, so after several days of drying, we got the shelves ready. We're going to go ahead and put them in Show you the before and after. Alright, here's the finished product with the new shelves in and the door back on. You can tell you can barely even see the wire shelves even existed. They're still under there, but it looks a lot nicer with not a lot of work done. A few tools and some effort. You can do this in your own house.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and share, guys. Appreciate it. Tell me what you think in the comments of the shelves. And the finished product. We didn't really take hardly anything out either. Just a matter of organizing. A million times better.